Hey, Eastern Michigan family and friends. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to our Women's History Month broadcast here on our Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, we're excited that you are joining us today as we have an opportunity to sit down with an alum who is doing amazing things within her career and learning how she is making her story. Y'all get that? Her story. Yeah, y'all like that. That was nice, right? So we're excited about sitting down with her today, and you'll learn a little bit more about Tracee in a few minutes. So if this is your first time catching our broadcast, hi, friend and family. My name is Taquanda. I serve as the social media strategist here at Eastern Michigan University. And we like to do what we call live 365s every now and then. And we are featuring Women's History Month. Now, we understand that Women's History Month happened in March. So if you missed our opportunity to sit down as we talked with Professor Judy Foster Davis, go on ahead back on our YouTube as well as our Facebook page to catch the replay after this one. But today we get a chance to sit down with Tracee Davie Patterson. You'll get a chance to learn a little bit about her and what she's doing amazing within her field of education. And we get to learn how she is making her story. So we want you to make sure that you are sharing this broadcast. So go on ahead, if you are on YouTube, hit the share button, as well as if you are on Facebook, go ahead and do that. Hit that good retweet on Twitter to let all your friends and your family know that Eastern is live right now. Now, we welcome all of your questions and all of your comments in our comment section today, but we do ask that you refrain from asking questions that are not relevant to today's conversation. And if you have any questions, that are not relevant to today's conversations or just questions in general, go on ahead and send them over to social_media at emich.edu. Again, our email is social_media at emich.edu, or hit up our inbox and we'll make sure that we get back with you. But we also want to make sure that all of your questions for Tracee are answered here on our live or later on if you're catching the replay. So go on ahead and hit up our comment box so we can go on ahead and we can acknowledge you. So without further ado, we're going to get on in and I'm going to share a little bit about Tracee. It's really great to be able to bring individuals on in our space, on our lives that are doing amazing things beyond what they've done here at Eastern. And Tracee is an amazing individual. I'm honored to call her friend. She has made a huge impact in my personal life, and I get to share her with y'all. So Tracee Davie Patterson graduated from Eastern with a Bachelor of Arts in 1997. She is the owner of Global Kids Explore and a program administrator and lead instructor for their Kids Explore Japan program based in Midtown Detroit. She is also an educational consultant and serves as a program director for, and I'm probably saying this wrong and she'll correct me later, it's Horatio Williams Foundation, the Detroit and senior project director of the 2022 Life Smart Education Japan Summit near Columbus, Ohio. She's an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Macomb County chapter, and a mother member of Jack and Jill of America. So you guys, beyond what she does in the educational field, she is doing amazing things within the community. She's with the Jack and Jill of America Oakland County chapter, but most importantly, she is the proud wife of EMU Hall of Famer Tib, as I call him, Patterson, and their two wonderful children, Zoe and William. So without further ado, I want to introduce to all of you Tracee Patterson. Welcome, Tracee, to our live.
Good afternoon.
I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. It is such an honor. I've been like waiting with bated breath.
So just to let everybody in on this, we've actually been planning this for over long beyond over a month, and it's most
Sure.
definitely well overdue, and we were able to get on each other's schedules and
Yeah.
get this going. So we are excited, most definitely, to have you. So thank you for joining us. And again, we welcome everybody's questions as we get on into today's conversation. So we know that Tracee, March was Women's History Month, and we know some amazing women. I mean, we can go on and keep naming. As everybody knows, I'm very transparent about, the individuals who have made amazing, amazing strides in my personal life.
Sure.
And I thank you for being one of those. So I'm excited about talking to you today about your program and the amazing things that you're doing within Midtown, as well as, I want to say, around Metro Detroit, because
Yes.
folks don't know about the amazing things that you're doing. I feel like every time we talk, you are on the road somewhere,
You're
getting
right.
somebody's school.
That's right. Absolutely.
Doing something. So can you share a little bit, even though I know you, we want to
Yes.
make sure that our followers know you too. So share with
Absolutely.
us a little bit beyond your bio
Mhm.
about yourself.
Well, let me first, just a quick housekeeping note. I need to, first of all, it's humbling to be your guest. I have followed you. I see all the wonderful work that you do in the communications area for Eastern Michigan University and all the other major initiatives, key initiatives that you work on. So I just want you to know, from me to you, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
As a
you.
member of one of the most illustrious sisterhoods in the world, I am proud to have been, I don't know, sort of a friend in your journey, as you started off and then you ended, and now you're doing amazing things, and more things to come. So I just want to say congratulations for all the great work that you've been doing.
Thank
You
you.
set yourself apart, not only just, within the sorority, but within your career. And I'm very proud of you, and keep up
Thank
the
you.
great work.
Thank you so much.
So, so to answer your question, and yes, this is definitely something I have to talk to with my husband about often, is balancing work life and, making sure that, my priorities are in order. But I'm definitely a community advocate at heart. I have, even from the days of Eastern Michigan University, I've worked with not only the community, the Black Student Union community, but worked with a gentleman by the name of Aida Osei,
Mhm.
and a ton of other folks. Curtis Brown, he's a principal at Dawson. David Bomar, there's tons of Lionel Milton, who is over at Higher Education University of Michigan, our soror's husband. We worked really hard to establish an organization called Redemption Incorporated, which was a nonprofit, even at that time as college students serving the local Ypsilanti and surrounding cities with respect to mentorship and however we could assist them being at-risk youth.
Mhm.
So community has been such an important part of my life for so long, that it really is a permanent pillar. And it's something that is a labor of love. It's a passion, and that's really what my business sort of grew out of, me volunteering, teaching children Japanese, and now it has graduated to this level of service in and around the city of Detroit, um, based out of Midtown Detroit. So I just needed to say that this is something that, I've been at for some time, and I'm just happy to be at a place where I'm at a point in my life where I'm able to elevate it and expand.
I love that. So now I want to go a little bit more in depth in regards to just your overall program and who you service. And I know that you are working with children as far as the Kids Explore Japan program. So can you go a little bit more into that and talk a little bit about even the schools that you go into and
Mhm.
what that structure looks like and
Sure.
how it's been benefiting the children of Metro Detroit?
Absolutely. So let me if it's okay, take a quick step back in terms of
Go
how I
ahead.
even got involved with learning Japanese language at Eastern Michigan University, and the places that it took me from there to arrive where I am now.
Mhm.
So someone actually, my major was urban and regional planning through the College of Geography. Dr. Norm Tyler, amazing person. was the lead advisor over there. And at some point, you know how you have to take those electives. And then we're going through the book, and the catalog, as they call it. I think I don't know what they
Ooh,
call it nowadays, but it was
oh,
an
it's
actual
still the
book. It was an
catalog.
actual
'Cause I
listen,
think
baby. It
it's
was an
digital
actual
now, but
book.
I
It was
used
a
to have
book.
a physical. I used to have a physical one in the
Yes. So you and I both. And someone said to me that they I said, I wonder about Japanese. This might be interesting to take. And they were like, no, that's too hard. You can't take that. You wouldn't be able to succeed at that. I said, oh, okay. And so from there, and they were right. That first semester, I did get it incomplete because I was pledging my sorority at the time. But I went back, and I haven't looked back since. So I want to take some time to do a special tribute to Motoko Tabuse Sensei, who I actually just saw this weekend. My company, Global Kids Explore, we sponsored the EMU Japan Student Association. They had their festival this weekend at Bowen Fieldhouse. So it
Awesome.
was such a full circle moment to be able to see Tabuse Sensei, Oketani Sensei, all the people who suggested that I move and live and learn in Japan, which is what I did. So once I took the class, I started to get really good grades, and I moved to Japan. I was there for almost 8 or 9 months, and from there I came back and I finished my degree in urban planning. Went to the city of Detroit, worked as an urban planner for 20 years, and then from there I also served as the co-coordinator for the Detroit Japan Sister City program, because Detroit Sister City is Toyota City, for obvious reasons, right? Toyota, the car
Right.
company. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've taken a delegation of students on and off to Japan, to Toyota Japan, for over 50 years now through the city of Detroit. And I was a part of that
Wow.
movement while I was an urban planner.
That's
So
so
once
cool.
I left, right? So most kids don't know that the city of Detroit sponsors, these trips every other year for next to nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing it. And we've had a sister state relationship with Shiga Prefecture for 30 years, but the sister city relationship with Detroit has been over almost 60 years. And so from there, I left. I started working for the Sickle Cell Disease Association because my mother passed away, unfortunately, from complications of sickle cell. So a job was created for me there. I did that work for 6 years, and then I came to Eastern again to work for the incomparable Elise Bugs over at the Academic Success Partnership Program, and that's when the whole educational consultant piece really kicked in, because from there, that's when COVID hit. And I really took my business model to the next level. So we're now in 4 different school districts. So we went from private online to 4 different school districts. River Rouge School District, which I think one of our distinguished alums last year, Dr. Derek Coleman,
Mm-hmm.
he hired my company. And at that time, I had another EMU alum who was also one of my students. You all did a spotlight on me last year. So we had sort of that trifecta going, right?
Yeah.
So he's hired me to not only work with his scholars at the STEM Academy, I also work with his students over at the high school. I have another engagement with another alum,
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Hood. Lawrence Hood is an alum of EMU. He's the chief academic officer at the Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences. I teach K through, well, we teach, I don't say we teach. I have a team of 6 wonderful, diverse women, which I want to talk about later on. But
Mm-hmm.
because 2 of them actually attend Eastern right now, Ashley Rodriguez and Tori Slocum. Ashley
Oh.
Sensei and Tori Sensei. So I'm making a point of making sure that I reach back and provide opportunities for my EMU alums, because it's so close to my and dear to my heart. And then I have another engagement with the Detroit Achievement Academy. That's
Mm-hmm.
an interesting story really quickly. My daughter, second grade, she was learning chess, but her, at the time, Coach Fight, shout out to Coach Kevin Fight with the Detroit Public Schools. There was a what you call it, co-teacher or student teacher by the name of Mario Lemons, who
Mm-hmm.
had a profound impact on my daughter. And they did this one exercise where it was, okay, tell us your superpower. What's your superhero name? And her name, she and Lemons, they decided to name her Zoe. Her name is Zoe Blossom Patterson, but they named her Z Lightning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now my daughter's a DJ, a full-blown professional DJ. And
She's
because of that,
amazing, you guys. She is
listen,
amazing.
and because of that, right? So she took that name that came from Mr. Lemons
Mm-hmm.
and shortened it to Zlight. And how about years later now, he's a principal at the Detroit Achievement Academy. So he keeps up with me on Facebook and what she's doing. And he saw that we were doing Japanese. We connected. How about he's now one of my contracts as well?
That's
So it's just
awesome.
like connections and alignments and, just people watching you and really, and I don't say a lot. I don't, broadcast it a lot because a lot of what my daughter does, my husband does with his speed performance training business and what I do, it's really grassroots word of mouth, because, I think people attract good people.
Absolutely.
And so that I've just been blessed with people just sort of following me and keeping up with me and reaching out. And it's really honestly all because of everything, mostly everything in terms of professional academic that I learned at Eastern. I could just tell you so many stories about, different linkages that I have with Eastern Michigan and how, from being a RA in the honors dorms from working with Sheila Scott at the academic success programs, which they don't have, academic mentorship programs, which they don't have anymore. I mean, people like, I'm trying to think. We would have like major speakers come and talk to us. Naeem Akbar, we would have major scholars, Cornell West. We would have all these scholars come to Eastern that Sheila would bring.
Yeah.
And so that impact on me, my sorority, everything, them teaching me professionalism and that connection. So just connections upon connections that Eastern, has provided me the opportunity to really grow and then now reach back is just amazing. And I'm doing it through this business.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I want to go in a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
just about like, also, we've heard a little bit about what inspires you, but I want to talk a little bit about like, who do you feel like are the most influential women, in your
Sure.
life, past or
Sure.
present, that have helped pave, the way as far as where you are today?
Absolutely. So, I always give honor and praise to the Most High for allowing me to uh, be the child of Blossom Hazel. Um, my mom, uh, truly, even though she has transcended, she is very much with me on a daily basis. Very much I can see a lot of her character traits in my children. Um, she has to be probably the most influential presence in my life, past and current, mainly because there's just so many lessons from her life that I carry out in my daily life. A lot of it has to do with, number one, that very first time someone told me that I couldn't learn Japanese, people, because she was living with sickle cell disease, which is a disease of black blood vessels, and it's a genetic blood disorder that causes a tremendous amount of pain. The hallmark of sickle cell disease is pain episodes that are brought on randomly. Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's the weather. So just watching her move throughout my life, having me as a teenage mom, Cass Tech, which is where I attended as well,
I
having me
can't get rid
on.
of y'all cast
No,
technicians.
you can't.
Every
You
time
can't.
I
You
turn
can't.
around, like,
Girl, listen, having, had me, and then graduating summa cum laude, didn't miss a beat, went to, Wayne State that very fall. Just all of these, impediments or hurdles, if you will, that were there. And she, every time, she prevailed. And so just waking up, every day in pain and still pushing through and going to work and gaining her master's degree. Out of all my grandmother's and grandfather's 6 children, she was the only one who got an advanced degree, even with her condition. So for me, pushing through and no excuses and making sure that you work as hard as you possibly can is, the lessons that I learned from my mother, just watching her on a daily basis and not ever really knowing what kind of pain or the type of excruciating pain that she was in, because she just made it look so easy. And so that's definitely, an influence for me. And then the people, other women who surround me on a daily basis that, support me, that keep me honest, are just, literally my sister friends and, my sister cousins, who are just doing amazing things, despite, what we always have sort of against us as women of color. just trying to create a space and a way for, for not only for ourselves, but for our legacies. So, and I also want to again give a shout out to the people who poured into me who were at Eastern. Sheila Scott, Dr. Lynette Finley. When I was a student in the summer incentive program, she was assigned to me as my mentor. Very dynamic woman, and again, not everyone's cup of tea, but she definitely her the way in which she moved and her approach to her affairs here at Eastern Michigan University when she was in leadership, bar none, unmatched. And not in learning that,
like she
right?
just, yeah,
Yeah,
I remember the very first encounter with her, and I'm like,
right.
like
Oh my
it's
God.
one of those deals, like you just gotta sit there,
Yeah,
like,
right. It's the
wow,
it's the
yeah,
confidence. It's like it's the bravado. It's like you don't want me in this room. I guarantee I know you don't want me in this room, but I'm not only am I qualified, but I have the experience and I'm going to sit at this table and you're going to listen to me because what I have to say matters and it makes sense because you don't have these children's experiences here at Eastern. I know them and I know what they need. And so just having, her as a voice and Greg Peoples, of course, was the dean. He was the dean of students when I was there. Okay. And over into the academics, making sure that you have confidence and understanding from which you've come and the greatness, from your ancestors. So Dr. Clovis Sims, shout out to him, Jabulani K. Makalani, who, sparked a deeper intrigue of African studies, in my mind. Dr. Melvin Peters, Dr. Jan Collins England, who I used to babysit her kids, but, professor at Eastern, who's now, I think she resides in California. So just all these people that poured into me then, people that continue to pour into me now. And, it just fuels a passion and a ambition in me to make sure that I provide this Japanese language culture, these skills to children who otherwise might not have access, and get them to say to themselves, okay, wow, I want to move to Japan. I want to visit Japan. I want to, and so when they actually do, they have the skills. They have, we're creating opportunities for them to study in Japan or, have exchange programs. When they actually do, then they get there and they say, oh, wow. So yeah, there are some things that are different, but there's some things that are very much the same. So these cross-cultural, connections, and them saying, okay, now what does the rest of the world look like? And they see that it's real and they have an opportunity to have these experiences. And it's not exclusive to folks who are in other socioeconomic, realm. So, that's definitely, in terms of influence, it's all those people, particularly those women at Eastern, that really, really helped pour into me. Dr. Nora Martin, of course, and I'd be remiss without, mentioning her. She was our graduate advisor when I became a Delta almost 30 years ago. And so just, the grace and the intelligence and just the sisterly, the way in which she, engages all of us, even to this day, it's just, it's definitely influential in our lives.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of seeing her again actually a couple of weekends ago. And even though it was through Zoom, it was like, Dr. Nora's here.
That's
Like,
Dr. Nora Martin. He's like, let me straighten up. Let me straighten up. Ooh, let me
like,
straighten
ooh,
up.
Dr.
That's
Nora's here.
royalty.
Like, I know that, we're having a good little time here, but
Right.
Nora's here. Like, it was just
Listen,
one of
it's
those.
Nora's here.
It is one of those feelings, and I absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand.
It's
Totally
awe-inspiring.
understand.
It's
So,
awe-inspiring. It's just the class,
yes.
and just, but just constantly in that show of sisterliness and grace and compassion. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I totally want to talk a little bit about like legacy, right? And and there's so many different challenges that we face as women, especially as the years go by, right? Like we've made some strides. There's most definitely some more. But in being in the education field, I
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about legacy and how important it is, and
Mhm.
talking about those future generations, like the individuals that you have right now who are working in
Mhm.
the program, who are current students at Eastern. So can
Yes.
we, can we go back to that and talk a little bit more about that legacy, and how that interaction has been, to pave the way moving forward?
Sure. So let me just say, I think everyone has their strong suit, their sweet spot, if you will, what makes them their gifts unique and impactful. And for me, it's always been um, having the ability to make genuine and authentic connections with people, no matter background, where folks come from. So
Mm-hmm.
really, honestly, within this setting and this business, that is truly my skill set, making connections. Because am I like the, most fluent in Japanese? Absolutely not. However, I have the skill of connecting with people who are. And
Yes.
so my lead instructor, Humio Sensei, who I actually recruited, she was a tutor for my children because my children attended Japanese immersion schools in Livonia from kindergarten all the way to sixth grade. So I
Wow.
try to like walk the walk and talk the talk as well. But one of the tutors, I brought her on as my partner when I sort of rebooted the business back in 2019, right before the pandemic hit.
Uh-huh.
So, in addition to Humio Sensei, she's the format of the whole program is that it's a sort of remote led with students in class who actually assist the remote teachers. So I have teachers who are as far as Virginia on our team, Connecticut on our team, bad sisters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some that are, of Japanese mixed American heritage, several who are African American,
Mm-hmm.
Latina, Ashley Rodriguez, who is currently a student here. She had heard about me initially through Elise Bugs years ago. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, when I posted the job posted the position through a job board, she found me, and now she's working as an in class Japanese assistant teacher.
That's awesome.
Tori Slocum, again, another young lady here learning Japanese, and again, a lot of them are not necessarily educators. I'm not an educator, but we all have a strong passion and love for the language, and
Mm-hmm.
so because we are tasked through our business, and the mission is to expose them, not necessarily proficiency. We have a sort of a broader, framework in terms of the types of strategies and tools that we can use in the classroom to further engage them, right?
That's
So
awesome.
and so we have local partners. We have partnerships with the Japan consulate of Detroit, which also houses relations with the state of Michigan as well as Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So we have resources, the Hinoki Foundation. So we have a number of resources that kind of feed into our programming, that are legitimate, that are very well respected in the Japanese language space
That's
here
awesome.
here and around Michigan, which allows us to provide a next level style of programming. And it really impresses, our clients, and, really with the ultimate goal of, if they stick with us, we're actually going to plan a trip to Japan, which is what we're doing now with one of our clients outside of the school system.
That's great. And I know, like, because I can only imagine how it's been, right? Like the
Mhm.
year spans as far as, and then the change of being physically in the classroom as well as,
Yes,
going virtual because of COVID,
yes,
and now
yes,
being in a position where, you can send students, right? Like
yes,
over,
yes.
um, how has that transition, as we prepare to like really close out, like how has that
Mhm.
transition been for you?
Well, we actually, pre-pandemic, we piloted an advanced Japanese class
Mhm.
online. So
Wow.
we weren't, it was actually a pretty easy transition, a pretty easy pivot for us. The
Mhm.
difficult or challenging aspect of it was that, um, there was a shortage of Japanese teachers in Michigan because a lot of
Mhm.
the programming had been cut in terms of Japanese programming within certain school districts. So of course,
Mhm.
teachers are like, well, I need to look for work outside of Michigan, and
Right.
so it was, so for us, it was like, okay, wow, we need to just create a sort of a hybrid model, as we now transition back into the classroom. So for that year and a half, we were completely online. But now that, things are sort of, cases are decreasing, and, things are kind of resembling something that's a little bit more normal than before. We have these amazing instructors who are still remote, but yet still take their lesson planning just as serious.
Right.
And, we have the in-person teachers who help to sort of redirect and regulate the children in class, so that these lessons from these very talented Japanese instructors can come through. And believe it or not, even though they're remote, the love that they feel, the passion that they feel from these instructors,
That's good.
um, is unmatched. Honestly, I mean, they really do enjoy so much, to the point, through the Horatio Williams Foundation, that's the other work that I'm doing right now, and his grant funding arm, we're now able to, some of the students where, we've actually, those engagements have ended or won't pick back up until the fall. We're able to provide them with free Japanese lessons on the weekends, on Saturdays.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
right. So we provided a number of sponsorships, so that the ones who kind of bubbled to the top, who really, really were serious about it and wanted to continue, we extended scholarships to them. And so now we're working with a lot of them on the weekends as well. So, it really is about leveraging partnerships and leveraging resources in the community, because they're there. And, someone like a Horatio Williams, who he's been, committed to youth development for so many years. He has so many people who support his programming. And to now work with him as his program director, again, I'm able to not only utilize my skills personally, but then also help him to build his programming, or rebuild his program, because it's always been there, but just to rebuild it and put it in different, maybe slant it in a different direction. So we have chess there, we have in addition to my daughter, she's DJing DJ 101 class. We
That's so
have
awesome.
meditation, healing classes. So I say all that to say is that youth development is just something that's at the core of me, and that's sort of the mission of what Global Kids Explore is all about. And we're able to, had to make those strides and make sure we make those connections every day. And again, I have to thank EMU, because if it were not for me, being sort of dared that I couldn't, learn Japanese, none of this
Right.
would, none of this would be, so, I appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing today about
You're welcome.
Global Kids and all the amazing things that you're doing, and
Sure.
even the strides that you're making. You are indeed making history and paving the way for folks like me and others, and even our youth. So, Tracee, thank you for joining us today. And I
Thank you
saw that
so
we had
much.
some comments in the comment section. Tiffany Julian says, so excellent to see my wonderful friend being interviewed for her fine work in the community. You most
Thank
definitely
you,
have been doing
Tiffany.
some fine work.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for joining us. I know for sure, like I'm full. I get to have this conversation every other day.
I know, right? What are you doing today, AP? What are you doing
I
today?
get the joy of having this conversation more than just once, but
Yes.
it's amazing to be able to let everyone, as I say, let everyone into my world as far as how dope and great
Oh,
EMU
thank
alums
you.
are. So thank you again for joining us today, Tracee.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And again, I'm hoping to continue to make you all proud.
Well, I know that I'm proud, and I'm pretty sure all of Eastern is proud as well. If you're catching the replay, thanks for joining us. If you're joining us right now live, we have some more comments. Oh, I love it. Is it Jamia? Jamia says, pure
Oh,
example of when beauty, internal and external. Oh,
that's my AP. That's my
I love it.
beautiful AP. Shout out to Zeta Phi Beta.
I love
My
it. I
AP,
love it.
and we actually went to high school together. So
Oh, that's so
we have a
cool.
long history together. Yeah, we graduated from Cass Tech in 1992. Shout
See,
out
I
to my
can't get
AP
away.
Jamia.
I always
Nope.
tell folks I cannot get away from cast technicians. Like my very best friend, who also went to Eastern, best friend of 22 years.
22 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
is a
Hmm.
cast technician, and she's loud and proud. So
Listen, I'm telling you, Taquana, some of the best relationships that I have in my life to this this day is not only from Eastern Michigan, but also from high school. I mean, the CAS technicians is really like an army. I
It
promise
really
you.
is.
Like,
I don't
no,
think
I'm
people
serious.
realize it. So if you're from the Metro Detroit area, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, yes. But it's
For
the
those
same
who
like
may
for
not be,
Renaissance. It's the same for Renaissance. It's the
yes,
same for Martin Luther King. You know, so it's definitely Detroit public school children have gone on to make a tremendous mark. You know, in
absolutely.
this state, in this country, in this world. So,
Yes.
you know, shout out to all the public school kids. You
Yes,
know, who
absolutely.
you know
Who are
who are
doing it.
really doing great things, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for watching.
Sure.
Again, if you're catching the replay, make sure that you hit up our comment box. Also, share again this video. Make sure that you subscribe if you're on YouTube to be notified, and hit the bell button. Hit the bell, because the bell lets you be notified of anytime we go live or post a video on our YouTube channel. My name is Taquanda from Division of Communications, and we are out. Have a great day, everyone.
Arigato gozaimasu. Hi, sayonara.